at the Wichita in Houston, Texas. Come join me because we're going to chat about leadership and showing up and getting aligned and getting clear, and taking action and voting and voting and voting and all of that stuff. So join me for some great conversation and a few laughs. And then when we're done, be sure and head over to your favorite podcast platform or to my website, laurelrutledge.com, and subscribe to my weekly podcast, The Rutledge Perspective Podcast. Episodes drop every Wednesday, and they are short and sweet, commute worthy. And I promise you, you'll get something out of every one that will help you shift your perspective. Because when you shift your perspective, you shift your circumstances. See you soon. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday morning, a rainy Tuesday morning here in Houston, Texas. I am coming to you, Laurel Rutledge, the Rutledge Perspective radio show, live here from KCOH TV Radio, The Boost, at the corner of Wichita and Alameda in the historic 3rd Ward of Houston, Texas. I'm so happy to be here. I love Tuesday mornings. They really do get me moving. And yeah, so we're going to talk today. You know, it's Vision Month, so it's November, right? 2nd month of the quarter. We're talking about vision, alignment, vision, action. So we're talking about how do we get clear on that vision? How do we get ready to take some action? And so it's also November 1st, which means it's the beginning, at least for me, of Gratitude Month. Now, I'm grateful every day, but it's like an intentional month of gratitude for me. So November 1st today. So we're going to talk about gratitude as a component of your visioning process. And how we use it, if you use it, when you use it, all that good stuff. And then at the end, we're going to talk about some things that are coming up. In fact, well, maybe I'll start with that, and then we'll talk about voting at the end. Because we only got a week, y'all. 1 week. So some updates from all things Laurel Rutledge. So as we start talking about visioning and gratitude and visions for business and visions for how you want to show up in 2023 and all of that, I came back from, back-to-back trips and realized I was exhausted. So yesterday I had a ton of stuff to do. And I was talking to my therapist and I was like, all I want to do is go to bed, right? I was in full dorsal, man. Now, I recognize that for me, this time of year is also very hard. That seasonal affective disorder, right? All of the darkness, the short days, it works a number on me. I need the sunlight to be awake because when it gets dark, my brain is like, time to go to bed. So that's part of it. But there was other stuff going on that's just other stuff. And what I realized through that conversation is often, and I know it's not just me. So I'm putting this out here so you know who you are, that you are not alone. Many things that we put out there for ourselves to do, to follow up on, to make happen, to put on our to-do list, all that kind of stuff, have nothing to do with anyone else but us. We are setting the rules. We are setting the guidelines. We are setting the deadlines. We are setting the must-tos, shouldas, couldas, wouldas. We're doing that to ourselves. And so what came up to me is, you know what? I love this radio show. I love my podcast and I love my fireside show. I love being able to spend time with people, being able to ask questions, interview people, get some really cool stuff, get some information, share some laughs. I mean, because y'all know Jerry P. Beasley's hilarious. So it is so much fun to just be able to use some of that energy because y'all know I'm introverted. So being able to do these kind of shows where I'm still able to interact but manage my energy is just perfect. And I get to share with all of you, right? And still be able to make an impact with the gifts that God has given me through a medium or a few mediums that enable me to also manage my energy. So anyway, I was thinking about all of that. I was really tired. I had all this stuff to do and was like in the death spiral, right? And finally I said, people have been talking to me about seasons for my podcast a long time. We actually talked about that at the Black Podcasters Association in the community, and then at the Afros and Audio Festival too, is do you do your show in seasons or not? And when I first started my podcast, I said, yeah, I'll do seasons. I'll categorize it by seasons. But my season was like the whole year. It wasn't like a real season. And if you think about television, seasons are maybe 6 months, 8 months, something like that. So I said seasons, but I didn't really mean seasons. And so it's come up a couple of times, like Jenny will say a couple of times, maybe you should think about seasons. And so it hit me. I said, you know what? It's the 1st of November. Holidays are coming up. I've got some more travel coming up. I got some clients, some pretty significant client work coming up here towards the end of the year. I'm trying to do some things that I need to do for me to be set up to be able to serve you for 2023. All that stuff I tell y'all to do, I got to do for me too, so that I am ready and prepared and am there to be there with excellence, right? And I said, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I pressuring myself to do all this madness? So as of November and as of last night, right? For November and December going forward, Laurel Rutledge, the Rutledge Perspective podcast, the season will be from January through October. And so in November and December, I will replay for you some of my most favorite episodes, some of the episodes that got the highest ratings. I will replay those from the current season. So I'm already doing episodes from the vault, so you guys can still get those, some really great nuggets from the last several years. But for November and December, I'll do some encore releases of 2022 content that got some really great replays and really great downloads. So I will redo those in November, December. So I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be here. Still definitely download, share, release, because if you came maybe later in the year, maybe you didn't hear some of those earlier ones. So please continue to share, download, all of that kind of stuff for the podcast. I'll be back in January with new content. I also am likely to take off one more month during the year. So it'll be a 9-month season. And that month is likely to be my birthday month in September, because I got to be on every platform in October, because see, we have elections in November. So I can't be gone the month of October. So you will see me fireside, radio, podcast in October, but you might not see me in September. So I might be taking my birthday month off in 2023. In fact, I'm pretty sure I am. So Laurel Rutledge podcast, you are going to see some encore episodes coming starting tomorrow, starting Wednesday. You'll start to see some encore episodes of some ones that got some really great play over the year of 2022. So I'll be doing those and setting up my calendar for episodes from the vault for 2023 as well. So that leads directly into, I'll do that at the end. That whole idea of taking time for yourself, being really aware, understanding what you're trying to do, why you're doing it, where you're doing it, if you're doing it, how you're doing it, all the doing it stuff comes down to, what is the vision that you have for what you're doing? Why are you doing what you're doing, right? So once you get aware, you're aligned with who you are and where you are, what is it that you want and why do you want it? Why do you want it? What is it about the things that you're doing that are getting you to the thing, right? And why do you want the thing? It's getting all of everything lined up. And so that tied into this conversation that I want to have with you today, starting Gratitude Month, of, are you working in gratitude into your vision of what you want? Are you thinking about all of those things that you are grateful for, all of those things, that the gifts that you have, all of those things as you design this vision? Because that vision is going to lead into action. And more importantly, all of those things that you are grateful for, if you're setting a vision for your life, for your business, for your career, how can you do more of that? More of the stuff that you love, more of the stuff that you're grateful for. How do you get more of that in your life, in your business, in your career, as you put this vision forward of what you're going to be doing going forward? How do you take that gratitude and turn it into something even more tangible, right? Gratitude sits in your belly. That feeling of immense joy and thankfulness of something, right? Grateful, thankful, blessed. Just a feeling that from the tip of your toes, right, to the top of your head, of just immense gratitude and thankfulness for whatever it is, for getting from your house to work in Houston, Texas when it rains, right? Because that's a thing, y'all. That's a thing. It's not a guarantee, because somehow we forget that it rains here. And that gratitude piece enables you to say, as I think about all these things I want to do, what I say I want, and then I go back and look at how it aligns with who I am, right, and where I am. Does it also connect to the things that I'm really grateful for? Those things that really bring me joy, not happiness, because happiness is fleeting, right? Things can make you happy for a minute. I'm happy, right, when they come and cut my yard. I am happy when I turn on the water and it runs. I am happy when kind of things happen. But contentment and joy are deeper, because you can be joyful even when you're not happy. You can be joyful when things aren't going your way, right? That's what real gratitude is. I am grateful that I am here today. Is everything going the way I want it to go? Absolutely not. Very rarely does that happen anyway. Are there things that I really wish were different? Are there things that I really would like to have somewhere to? Absolutely. But I am so grateful for what I have and sitting in joy around those things that it enables me to think a little bit, or at least attempt to think a little bit clearer about that vision for what I have going forward. How can I add more of the things that make me grateful, that give me joy, that make me content, into what I have to do for the majority of my time every day? And FYI, that includes things like rest and sleep and self-care. If travel's your thing, travel, right? If music is your thing, music. What are those things that you are grateful for having? I am so grateful when I get a chance to go dance, right? And I haven't been out dancing in years, even before the pandemic, because life just got crazy and I had not been out in a long time. And I was listening to something the other day, a song that was played at one of the shows that I was in. And I just got up and danced, and I didn't remember half the routine. But it was just such a joyful feeling and a feeling of gratitude that these people that I met, when I moved back to Texas, and I decided, you know what, I really want to learn salsa. And I actually learned it because a friend of mine was having a birthday party, and I'm like, I need to learn salsa, bachata, like yesterday, merengue yesterday. So let me take some lessons. Took a few lessons in the beginning, and then I was like, you know, I really want to learn like street salsa. I want to learn how folks are dancing like in the countries, in Colombia and Venezuela and Panama and, you know, that Cuba and Puerto Rico. I want to learn how they're dancing at home. I don't want to be, and I took ballroom dancing when I was in Detroit, all the Latin dances, and it's beautiful. That's not the kind of dancing I wanted to do. I want to be able to just go out somewhere and just dance. And as I listened to this song and thought about it, I thought, you know, when I set the vision for what I want to have happen in 2023, that vision must include time for dancing. It must, right? It's got to include time to go learn these languages. It's got to include time to travel. It's got to include time to sleep, like real sleep, not like sort of sleep, like real sleep. It's got to include those things that I'm so grateful that when I came back and decided to do that, and I found Strictly Street Salsa, which, by the way, Raul, I'm going to be calling you so I can have you here in the station, in the studio. I found these people that are just amazing people. It's an amazing community. And me, little old me, who doesn't like to be the center of anything, on stage at Miller, dancing.
What?
Yes. I think 4 years I did that. I don't know, Raul, fix it. Fix it, Jesus. 4 years. 4 years. I was on stage dancing. Now, that was a lot for little old me. But I really did have a good time, and I loved learning it, and I loved the people. It was just so much fun. And so when I think about the things that I'm grateful for, I am so grateful that they saw something in me that said, yeah, we absolutely want you in this show. Because no dance training, no, I do have rhythm, and I can hear a beat, because there are a lot of people who dance who can't hear a beat. I do, I can hear a beat. I can stay on beat. You know, I have musicality, all those kind of things. And I'm so grateful that these people saw in me that I showed up, grateful that I showed up. Cause y'all know I don't always show up because that's like in engaging with folks. I showed up, they saw something in me. I went to the rehearsals and it was awesome. We were dancing hours a week. I've probably not been in as good a shape in a long time. And when I think about how that made me feel, engaging with these folks who also loved dance, engaging with these folks who really wanted to just go out and have fun, and also bring together that Afro-Latin community, that there is a connection, that Afro-Latin connection, the connection between Black and brown communities, the fact that everyone you see who looks like me is not necessarily African or American, but may be Latin. You know, there's colorism in the Latino community as well, or Latinx community. I have to apologize because I'm not sure which one. I just read another article yesterday. I'm not sure which one to use. So somebody educate me. Not sure which one to use, and I want to be respectful. So I say Latino or Latina, but if that's wrong, please charge it to my head and not my heart. So as I'm going through this whole process of what am I going to do for 2023 and how am I going to set everything up for success for 2023, and more importantly, how am I going to assist my clients in doing the same thing? It is reminding ourselves about those things that bring us joy, that we are so grateful for having and being a part of. And how do we work that into everything we do every day? How do we work that into our business? How do we work that into our lives? Because we often get so caught up in just doing the thing. I know that was me when I left corporate. Almost every fiber of my being was so caught up in that organization and those people and making sure everything was right there and fighting the battle every day and fighting against rewriting history and reminding folks, no, we can't do that here. But it's not that we're just saying no to stuff we legally can't do that here. I mean, all the drama on a daily basis. The gratitude that I had was that I did have those folks that I was dancing with. I had some friends that I could speak Spanish with. I had, my sister circle. I had my Fierce Five. I had my Friends for Life. I had these people around me who helped me remember who I was and what I was put here for. Now, it took me a minute to actually pull the trigger on that. I had to get right and I had to get peaceful and I had to get still to do that. And that's what happened that December 2016. I got really still. I started paying attention to what was going on. I started paying attention to what really I was thankful for as I sat there with my family and I was tired and I was frustrated and I was irritated and I was getting more and more short-tempered. And yet, even with all of that, I was so grateful to be there with them, to not be having to take a call from folks, to not be with those folks, to be with my folks and my people. I was so grateful for that and so happy that I was able to be in their presence. And yet I was also very much aware that I was not my best self in their presence. And that wasn't okay with me. It just wasn't okay. And so when I talk about thinking about gratitude as you set your vision for 2023, or even for the rest of this year, because we've still got 2 months left to this year. The year's not over. You've still got time to accomplish some things you want to accomplish. What are you grateful for? What gives you joy? And how can you incorporate more of that into your vision for your next thing? Because it's not just about the thing. It's about how the thing makes you feel. Because how that thing makes you feel impacts how you show up and how you use the thing. I'm going to be interviewing, and I'll remind you guys again at the end of the show. I'm going to be interviewing this amazing woman on Fireside on Wednesday. So tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Her name is Anna-Mika Anderson. She's originally from New Zealand. She is the founder and CEO of Mia Donna Diamonds. Now, it's called the Eco Diamond. And it's fabulous. Y'all go look at their stuff. She is the disruptor of the diamond industry. You hear me? She is the pioneer of the lab-grown diamond industry. Not CZ. We're not talking about chemicals. We're not going to talk about fake stuff. We're talking about actual coal in a lab grown into a diamond. These are real gemstones. And she literally battled the cartels, right? I mean, all the diamond folks came after her as she started building this. No one wanted to work with her, trying to find lab. I mean, you got to listen to her story. It's incredible. And when she built this business, one of the things that had her start building the business is she had someone ask her about her diamond. I think I told you guys this a few weeks ago. Asked her about her diamond, and she realized it was a blood diamond, right? That the people who had mined the diamonds, the the villages that were mining these diamonds, how the children were treated, how the people were treated there, what happened to them. And it wasn't okay with her. It wasn't okay with her. And so her why was like, you know what? I can't do this. There's got to be a better way. And so as she began to think about, Mia Donna and what she could do in building this other thing, she built this amazing company. But she also began to build up villages that were impacted by mining. She became a humanitarian. She became a philanthropist. She became an activist in this area, right? She was so grateful for what she had and saw the impact of this industry and was able to then take that and say, yes, I'm building a business, but I'm also responsible for building lives and helping to build villages and helping to turn things around, because we only get this one life. So as you're looking at your vision of what it is, whatever it is you want, if you want to have the biggest whatever in the world, okay, great. But what is it that you're grateful for that is driving that? What is bringing you joy that's driving that? And there are some people in this world that the only thing that brings them joy is just the win, just the money, just the thing, right? There are a few people. I argue that that is a very small percentage. They just happen to be really loud. It's a very small percentage of people. Most people have something bigger that they want to do. That's why you have people that volunteer. That's why we have so many nonprofits. That's why we have so many organizations that are really trying to impact people's lives in a positive way. We as human beings who live collectively do feel a call to help others. And I'm not talking about these fake folks who like to beat you over the head with the Bible and then they don't know how to act in person. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the folks that are quiet. I'm talking about the folks who actually are making a really big impact. And you might never know it. You might never know it. The people who make really big donations and you never know their name. I think the only reason we know where Mackenzie Scott is giving her money is because other people are telling us where Mackenzie Scott is giving her money. She said she was giving it all away. She didn't say where, but we've been telling people where. Because the where is not her point. Her point is impact, right? She is so grateful to have this and to have this ability and to have this platform that she is using that gratitude to drive her vision to make an impact. That's what we do. Gratitude can be the foundation for your vision that gets really clear and helps you move into action to make things happen. And it doesn't have to be a business. It can be your career. You are so grateful that you had a phenomenal mentor that really helped you at a critical point in your career. And so you've decided part of your vision as you continue to move up, you're going to continue to build the best, biggest, boldest career you can build. And you're going to take somebody with you or many somebodies with you because you are so grateful for the time and the effort and the attention that someone spent on you, that you feel compelled in your vision of bigger is bringing folks along with you. Each one reach one, each one teach one. Gratitude is a key component of vision, a key component of vision. It's not just a word we throw around. We've been throwing around so much stuff, right? We throw around pivot, we throw around shift, we throw around thankful, we throw around all of these words. But what do they really mean? And what do we really mean when we're talking about them? When I talk about getting aligned with who you are and where you are, I talk about creating a clear vision of what you want. And then moving into empowered action to know what it's going to take and what you are willing to do to make it happen. I say that over and over and over and over because I know that it takes alignment, it takes vision, and it takes action to get anything that you say you want to have. And when it's not working, one of those things is not working. Most likely it's alignment. You're trying to do something that is so not who you are, so not in your wheelhouse, so not connected to your very core. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always stuff we have to do, right? I hate doing invoicing. I hate doing all that kind of stuff, but if I want to get paid, I do invoices, right? So I'm not talking ticky-tack stuff. That's not what I mean. I mean the stuff that really grates against the core of who you are. That stuff that you wake up and you're like, this is not me. It's not me. You're having trouble sleeping. You're having trouble functioning. You're not showing up as you. That's how I knew it was time, right? I was at peace. But I also knew I was unable to continue to show up without being irritated. The minute I walked across the